Yo, what is good, my quick crypto family and coin factory family? Welcome back once more to another Kaspa crypto live stream. As you can see, bed's gone. Trying to do the renovating right now. It's been quite a long day for me. I also just finished my executive roundtable. Didn't have a time to record it on Sunday due to my family issue, so I did a separate recording for that today, and it was a very, very big one because, I mean, if you think about what's happened in the last 10 days, you had the Jerome Powell FOMC meeting on Wednesday 29th. You had Trump's tariffs updates today from the Supreme Court. We've got news on that as well. You had some other significant developments from institutions as well. And of course, you witnessed Bitcoin go from 116K all the way down to 94K or so in the span of a week or so. It is ridiculous what we've seen in just 1 week, how volatile Bitcoin has been. So we'll get into all of that in this stream, effectively. It might not be a long stream today. It's currently 10:30 p.m. basically where I'm at, because I've been so busy. I was like, I haven't got time, so I'll try and get something out today as a live stream. So we're going to have some updates regarding the Trump tariffs, regarding some other macro and fundamental developments, and then some updates regarding predominantly just Kaspa this stream. We have got some regarding Tau as well, and some others here and there. But we'll get through all of that in the stream as per usual, give a bit of an insight on what's happening right now. But that being said, family, still be trying to do this every single day. If you enjoy the content, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more, and turn on that post notification bell so you know when I do go live, which should be every single day. But welcome back once more. Dimitar first, as always, brother. Welcome back. Hopefully you're doing very, very well today. Kaspa will melt faces, hopefully in due time. I mean, it obviously has come down to levels we haven't seen since like early 2023, effectively. It's been a very, very low level for Kaspa, but it's because everything's performing very badly right now. Welcome back, Wing Hong, you're doing very, very well. Third, Greg, welcome back, brother. Great to have you back again. LB on the check-in once more. Wing Hong as well, yes. Stuntoma, Jay quick swapped his bag for XRP. Yeah, no. No, joking. I know you were joking, brother, but don't worry about it. I mean, yeah. No, if anything, I'm more than likely to switch my last bit of XRP into a Kaspa bag right now. Right now, I am very much just leaving my everything alone because the market is still in a massive stage of uncertainty. So I don't want to do anything too decisive right now. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Welcome back, Johnny Taco Outdoors. You're doing very, very well. I'm here for the emotional damage. Well, hopefully it'll bring some clarity as well. Although the shameless shill, I know, but those who are part of the VIP had the much more in-depth rundown in regards to what is happening and also what we're going to look forward to. The short summary of it I'll provide in this stream, and also the short summary being that 2026 is apparently going to be a FOMO year. That doesn't guarantee price FOMO, but in terms of adoption by institutions, that will be FOMO. I just realized why things look a bit blurry. I can't see. Put my glasses on. Yeah, that's how long a day it's been for me. I forgot to wear my glasses. Damn. There you go. That looks a lot better. Yes, so 2026 is looking pretty good. I have got one of my sources that I'm going to showcase on stream, which kind of talks about it a little bit as well. But the documents we covered in the VIP in the roundtable earlier was so significant. It was so significant and so, it did really paint a picture in regards to where the space is going. We saw interviews. We went through interviews from like Standard Chartered saying that one of the big players is going to come in next year and the rest will foam it in after that. That was his words. So yeah, that's good, big stuff. So again, check out the VIP. I've done so already. Welcome back, Brett, bro. You're doing very, very well. Good evening, brother. Cos Wallop, as always, brother. Welcome back, baby daddy. Great to have you back again. Tony, welcome back. Here, the liberal people are about to undo all the work we are doing to be less dependent on the government and shrink the size. I mean, yeah, it's we'll talk about it. Not too much, but we'll talk about it. Trump is crashing the markets to force the Fed hand to cut rates more so we can refinance our debt. Not a bad speculation. Not a bad speculation, honestly. We'll have to wait and see. Welcome back, though, everybody. And yes, Crypto Gosu, welcome back, brother. Radio mode on. Good to have you back, brother. You're doing very, very well. Now, let's get into the market right now. because I feel very mentally disoriented right now. I feel all over the place. Welcome back, Riley. So we saw Bitcoin crash, right? So Bitcoin crash over the last few days. It came down to 99k, which as we spoke in yesterday's live stream, that's anything below 98k, and I'll get a little bit worried. We didn't go below 98k, held at 99k, and even made a recovery above 100k. So markets are looking stronger. Therefore, we're not out of the woods just yet. I don't think we're out of the woods just yet. I still think we got more downside possibly coming in. But we are seeing Bitcoin currently up 1.86%, Ethereum up 4.11%, Kaspa up 6.6%. Some other assets are doing very, very well. Octa's up almost 20%. Quanta's up almost 17%. Across the board, you've got some that are doing very, very well. Hopefully it continues in that fashion, but until we break above 116k, the next leg of the bull one's not here just yet. And honestly, you might see a very bad November. I'm currently in the stance, you might see a very, very bad November, honestly. So to get into it, I'm going to start on actually, what happened. Which again, I had more insights with my VIPs earlier, but this corrective behavior there are 3 reasons for it. Well, 4 if you count manipulation by institutions and whatnot, but there are 3 reasons for it. One is the Fed, when they were very hawkish. The fact that the FOMC meeting was last week. Do you know how it feels like it's been, weeks and months since? It's been literally a week since the FOMC meeting. It feels like it's been an age. But last week, we heard Jerome Powell and the Fed become more hawkish. They still cut rates, they still announced QT, but they became more hawkish. That caused pullbacks. That caused headwinds. Then we saw, again, trying to collect my thoughts, I apologize. Then we saw the tariffs happening right now. That's something else as well. Oh, right, that's it. Government shutdown. Government shutdown is still ongoing. We have now officially made history. The longest shutdown ever in history was 35 days back in 2018 with Trump. We're now on the 36 days, so we've made history, and there's still no signs of it ending right now. The longer it goes on, is good and bad. As Cody was saying in the Discord server, the longer it goes on, it basically forces the Fed to step in because no money can come into the economy. So the longer it goes on, it forces the Fed to actually act. So that is good, but at the same time, the longer it goes on, there's more uncertainty in the markets. That could also behave very negatively as well. And then, of course, we've got the tariffs as well. So this correction here was Fed stuff, and then this correction here was just tariff headlines once again, as always, causing a lot of pullbacks, which we have updates about that right now. So first off, we heard that apparently China are making some good developments with the United States regarding tariffs, suspending 24% tariff on US goods. And they announced it will suspend an additional 24% tariffs it had imposed on US goods for 1 year. China will retain that 10% base tariff on those goods. The suspension takes effect from November 10th, 2025, which is 5 days from now. And China announced it will remove tariffs of up to 15% on certain US agricultural goods starting from that date. So basically tariffs, and there's been a trade deal from China and United States. Very, very good news. And that also would alleviate some FUD. That came through earlier today as well, which also adds to it. But the thing is, the tariffs are still a massive grey area in general, right? So today we would have heard the Supreme Court address Trump, his administration regarding the tariffs. And this ruling is so much bigger than people realize. Whether it's in favor or against the tariffs, it will most definitely reshape the entire global economy. If the Supreme Court strikes down Trump's tariffs, the US Treasury will face a massive refund liability and expected to pay up to $1 trillion to the importers, because effectively it would be deemed that they've wrongly taxed people or wrongly collected taxes, which they still perceive it as that. And America have applied it to over 150 countries right now. So in the sense that they vote against, or they say the tariffs are perfectly fine, which could still be a possibility, although it's looking a lot less likely now, you probably see a bit of a pullback just because people generally don't like the idea of tariffs, but you see it probably level out, come back and be fine after that, once the confirmations come through. And then when it comes towards the verdict that tariffs are illegal, I mean, depends on what side of the fence you sit on. That would be good in the short-ish term for risk on, because all the liquidity that's been taxed or tariffed, whatever terminology you want to use, that's been accumulated by America would have to be forced to be paid back to the importers, which means, the businesses that are basically paying these sort of taxes on imports and whatnot, that would be removed. And it means they get their money back. It means it would kind of incentivize more business spending as well. Which, as a result of today's ruling, you start to see the markets make a push forwards. We could see before the verdict, the odds of the tariffs being named as legal was almost at 50%, and then it took a nosedive because of today's proceedings. Now, there's not going to be a verdict, at least not immediately. Apparently, the Supreme Court has until the end of their term, which is July 2026, to make their official verdict or their final verdict. Of course, that can come earlier, and there are some people who are incentivizing them to make their verdict earlier, but they've got a lot to decide. And again, there are also posts like from Bloomberg here, Walter Bloomberg, that says there are other means that Trump could use to legalize these tariffs. If the IEEPA tariff fail in court, Trump's team may rely on other laws. Section 122 of the 1974 Trade Act allows 15% tariffs for 150 days to address trade imbalances, possibly followed by targeted tariffs under Section 301 used against unfair trade practices. The Court of International Trade suggested Section 122 could provide a stronger legal basis for global tariffs. The administration could also invoke Section 338 of the 1930s Tariff Act, which permits up to 50% tariffs on countries that discriminate against US trade. So, by no means is this trade war done. By no means. We still have or let's say trade deal, this uncertainty around tariffs. By no means is it over with. We still got a lot more to wait for. But today's verdict, perceiving Trump's tariff as more leaning towards illegal, also does add a level of clarity, which is also why the markets are reacting well. Because again, every time a tariff headline is blasted on social media, the markets go down every time. Like we can't even count them on our fingers. There've been so many tariff headlines, whether it be between America and India, America and the UK, America and Europe, America and China being the main ones, of course. Every time that's happened, the markets have come down. Now, I'm not saying tariffs are bad. I'm not going to make the judgment on that. But the headline alone incites fear. It incites fear. And with that alone, with this kind of pre-verdict, if you will, with the sentiment being more so the tariffs are illegal, the understanding therefore is that the money will be given back in some capacity or somehow they'll be given back, and therefore the tariffs are no longer a thing. The headlines of tariffs will not be disastrous anymore, which is good. That is good news, at least in the risk on sentiment. Now, how long that'll last for, again, who knows? That in itself is good, that you'll see the markets come back if that comes through, but the verdict still has months to be decided. So we won't have an update on that. Well, we have no confirmation of when we're going to update on that. So that's still a massive grey area. So in the kind of general recap, therefore, of the very small general recap, therefore, of what we see in the last, week or so, Fed, hawkish stance, government shutdown being the main driver of all of this. Could have been going on since the beginning of October. And then you've seen Trump's tariffs causing more headwinds. The verdict has provided some form of tailwinds and hopefully continues. But until we break 116k, I'm not really reacting to this. We could go lower from here, hopefully not. I don't really want to de-risk, but I will, of course, to protect my own assets. But if we go below 98k, I'm going to de-risk. If we go above 116k, then I think the next leg will be coming in. But it could be quite a long month, so we've got to buckle up for that. I've only 5 days in right now. Although, as Brett did state in the chat right here, and I did also, put up the article for it, it looks like oh, okay, fine. It looks like the Fed have begun some form of stealth easing, which is something that people had predicted. That QT is coming to an end in December. The Fed won't necessarily announce QE, but they'll start doing other means that are kind of doing it behind the corridors, behind closed doors. We've seen $125 billion in 5 days injected into the bank reserves. So the Fed seems to be quietly flooding banks with cash again. The simple synopsis of this is the Fed just poured $125 billion into US banks over 5 days. October 31st saw the biggest hit of $29.4 billion in one day. Banks swapped treasuries for cash to ease funding stress. Bank reserves are at the lowest in 4 years, just $2.8 trillion, which is the critical level. And Jerome Powell talks tough on inflation, but quietly floods banks with cash. This is called stealth easing. Markets now bet there's a 67% chance rate cuts get cut in December, so it's still very, very low. Still above 50, but it's still very, very low. But this move is frankly quite huge, and crypto markets love easing money. They love QE. QE is a big indication to seeing more money coming in. It's not money printing, or not just money printing that pumps the markets, it's also cash flowing into the banks. So shout out to Brett for putting this in our community. Again, shout out to you, brother. And that also could be quite a good thing as well, right? Which also could be a reason why the market's performing quite well. Again, there's a lot going on. We're still very much in that period of uncertainty and unknown. But one thing I've been seeing, and again, stuff I've been looking through my VIPs and whatnot, documentation highlighted time and time again that crypto is perfectly fine. Think about how many, world-ending crash events black swans we've seen this year so far, or this cycle so far. From the yen carry trade back in August 2024 to we saw the crypto liquidation event recently here. We saw a crypto crash earlier this year as well. We saw the first sign of Trump's tariffs causing a mass correction as well, or crash even. Crypto's gone through so much. The markets have gone through so much. And every single time, crypto's come back stronger. Crypto's currently at 100, Bitcoin's currently at 103K, which is quite insane considering the circumstances right now. It's quite insane, honestly. So I do believe that in the immediate short term, you might do some, again, more turbulent times. But I still think that will be okay. And based on what I covered with my VIPs earlier, as I posted the roundtable earlier, I do honestly believe that 2026 will actually be good. At least in regards to adoption. Again, it doesn't guarantee you'll see bull markets. No one knows about that just yet. Macro liquidity suggests that we will be seeing a cycle extension. How much further into 2026, we don't know yet. I've provided many documents publicly and also more so privately to my VIPs regarding that. Today was a big touch on that as well. But right now, again, the markets are just licking their wounds in regards to what's happening. We have got some updates in regards to that, which I'll get into right now, and then I'll come back full circle. Again, I apologize if the stream seems a little bit, hopping about right now. I've not had time to properly sit down and collect my thoughts all day. It's been hectic. Don't be worried, be logical. Yeah, don't be emotional, be logical. That's what we're thinking about right now. We are so screwed. I mean, again, there's Trump stuff that there's other alternatives that Trump can do to still impose tariffs. Whether that comes to fruition or not, we don't know. It's early doors right now. It seems to be more so in favor of removing the tariffs. We'll have to wait and see. Welcome back, Mr. Miles, bro. You're doing very, very well, brother. Mandani, the beginning of the end. I am not going to talk on politics too much because I know politics and crypto go hand in hand, but it's a sour spot. I think it's the biggest sour spot in the world because you've got people who are right-leaning, left-leaning. Trying to stay in the middle is very, very hard, which is why I refrained from talking, because beforehand when I was talking, I felt like there was times where I probably was leaning more one direction than the other. So I figured, you know what? People can have their opinion, that's perfectly fine. Just don't have a beef war in the chat about it, please. We can be more like Jay's Hotown, it's celebration. Alhamdulillah. I mean, UK is far from a celebration. UK is terrible, to be honest, but hey ho. Madani can't be as bad as Sadiq Khan. Again, that's what you believe, that's perfectly fine. Who has authority? Who banned crypto in New York? I actually can't remember. Oh, Letitia James, it was okay. New York State Attorney General James sued crypto platform KuCoin for failing to register as a securities and commodities broker and falsely representing itself as a marketplace. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. It is very, very crazy right now. But yeah, let me get into some other sources real quickly, some Kaspa news, and then we'll come back full circle and get some more questions going. So right now, Kaspa again currently up 6.89%, valued at 4.7, which is that zone, that support zone that Kaspa was trying to hold previously. Of course, it has lost that now because Bitcoin and Ethereum showed so much weakness. It's not Kaspa being bad. Bitcoin and Ethereum have been leading the markets. Dominance for Bitcoin has got out of control. And again, it's exactly as I stated. It is very, very possible that we could see a repeat of what happened way back here in the last cycle. You saw a dip, you saw the dominance come back up again. We're seeing it right now. The dip, it's starting to come back up again. You might see a repeat of this dominance cycle, this repeat again. Kaspa is currently, reburning off that support. If it can regain it, it'd be very, very good, but it's too early to tell right now. In regards to some updates, we have had some from our updates regarding Binance from Wolfie here. Which somebody asked, Wolfie, can you just pay for the Binance listing? Which, me personally, I still don't think we should. I don't think we should pay for it at all. But announcements regarding paying for the Binance listing, apparently, your cheapness will kill the coin, whatever. And Wolfie said the peanuts that he's referring to would be $1 to $3 million. They've demanded 3% of Kaspa's max supply. And, that would be 28.7 million, which would be, 861 million Kaspa, or $41 million worth. Now, if that is the case, that does confirm that Wallet One's not Binance. Doesn't mean that they don't have relations to Binance, but Wallet One actually just scooped up another 8.2 million Kaspa. But Binance are demanding 3% of the max supply. This wallet has 4.2, so it's got more than enough. It doesn't need any more. So this definitely isn't Binance, therefore. That's pretty much confirmed because of that. But it could very well be the likes of maybe Wintermute or Market Maker. Again, it could be Gate. There's still many theories. Again, because the transactions coming through are from Gate, so the Gate theory is still there, although I'm not so convinced. I think it's more so a Market Maker of sorts. But maybe I'm wrong. But if it is a market maker, it could be, let's say, Wintermute, who has ties to Binance, and then when Binance are ready, they'll just pay for the Kaspa off Wintermute. So, yeah, it is quite an interesting perspective coming through right here. So, yeah, Binance wants a lot of Kaspa supply, but then evidently, we're not paying for it, and it's still, it's a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money, and again, you can, you can whinge, whine, and complain all you want about Binance listing, but what I feel like, because people are so hell bent on price action, they're failing to realize the negative consequences that comes with paying for a listing. Think about it. Binance is the biggest exchange in the world. They manipulate the markets like crazy. You've seen so many lawsuits against them because of it. If they get paid to list Kaspa, what incentive do they have to keep the coin up? They have none. There's no incentive. If they were to pay themselves out of their own pocket, they want to make good on that investment. They want to make the money go up. Kaspa right now is down to 4.57 cents. If we then decided now to pay for Binance listing, that would definitely be a pump and a dump. Probably a big pump, and it probably start leveling out and going up because of FOMO and whatnot. But Binance, every single listing coming on Binance always goes up and comes down immediately. There is literally no incentive for an exchange to keep the price of an asset up if they've been paid money for it. There's no incentive whatsoever. So I don't think paying for a Binance listing, especially now, would be good at all. They'll list whenever they're ready. I'm still under the impression that Wallet One adding more Kaspa again for dirt cheap, as always. costing literally next to nothing, is probably like winter mute, and they'll probably end up shuffling over some of that capital to Binance when they're ready. If Binance wants 3%, then if this winter mute, that might make sense why they're stacking more and more, because they are a market maker for more than just Binance, therefore multiple exchanges in the marketplace. So if they're giving 3% out to Binance, then they'll lose quite a lot of that. Honestly, quite a lot of that indeed. In some other news as well for Kaspa, we've heard Dimensions apparently is now going to be listing Kaspa, which is quite a big deal. Chain Launchpad Dimension has almost 200,000 followers here. And to explain it, basically, Kaspa Dimensions Bridge goes live with the upcoming Beyond upgrade in roughly 2 weeks from now. So basically, Dimensions decentralized exchange will enable CAS USDC trading, yield on Kaspa through liquidity provisions, and creation of new assets paired with Kaspa. Kaspa Launchpad. Community can launch new tokens and bootstrap liquidity with Kaspa. Tokens that hit the liquidity threshold will be able to evolve into full-blown Kaspa EVM layer 2s. So, pump fund type of thing, basically, what you're still already seeing with the likes of Kaspa.com, but with Dimensions, basically. Kaspa layer 2s use Kaspa as a gas token. It's not actually Kaspa, it's a kind of wrapped Kaspa effectively, and post all transaction data to the Kaspa network for data availability. This means fuller blocks, more demand for Kaspa, and greater fees for miners. Kaspa is a proof of work block DAG with high throughput and low latency, but no native smart contracts, not yet at least. Dimensions will unlock vast capabilities for Kaspa, extending it as money while making use of security, speed, and centralization of Kaspa for data availability to support Kaspa layer 2. So another platform coming to Kaspa, quite a big deal that actually, quite a big deal indeed, and hopefully you see this sort of this kind of develop, progress more and more and more. That's what you want to see right now. You want to see more and more of these DEXs, these other entities, these dApps coming onto Kaspa to offer services to trade the product, because it will bring more adoption to Kaspa as a whole and increase the volume, which is also something that the smart money tier ones are looking for. They're looking for volume as well. Sharia law, some states by 2050, and UK is fully Islamic by 2050. Fair enough. Again, not getting into politics right now, but ignoring all the back and forth between Wing Hong and Kryptoni. Greg here, plot twist, what if Wallet 1 is Binance, but they're asking 3% of the supply, hoping we'll be suckered and give them free coins. They can then put the big one pants and buy Kaspa just like we did. I mean, that also is an interesting plot twist. I'm kind of leaning towards it being unlikely right now, if I'm being honest. But, I mean, right now, say confirmation is still speculation. We have no confirmation whatsoever, but anything's possible. I would like to believe it's more so a market maker than Binance. But it doesn't mean that Binance won't buy from them, right? That's kind of how it works. Or several tier ones, yeah. Also very possible as well. I had a wild thought, could Wallet 1 be a stablecoin issuer? It's not it's a bad thought, but if you think about Wallet 1's been buying since March 2024. Of course, that's still possible. But March 2024, the only entity that really started gaining a lot more involvement into Kaspa around then, I think, was Mintermute. I have to do some more deep dive to look into that, but either way, it's still to be speculation. We just don't know. It could be a stablecoin issuer, it could be a market maker, it could be a tier one. We'll find out eventually, whenever that is. The big ultimate question, as always, is when. Just when is it happening? We don't know. We just don't know. In other news, we also got this from KRI. The team KRI is in Dubai right now with their DII Desert Energy friends at the Global Annual Summit discussing Kaspa and energy, which is very, very big. I made a post about that on my Twitter. I don't remember how long ago it was. It would have been sometime last week, I'm pretty sure. Because scrolling so hard to find things now because I post too much nowadays. Although I've been lacking the last few days due to me being busy. But yeah, they're basically having a DII summit right now. They're talking real-world asset tokenization, everything like that. And one such thing would be also heavily revolving around Kaspa, being their belief in regards to where's the post I made? Can't find it. I think I've gone past it now. 22nd, yeah, I've gone way past it. I must have done. Okay, well, I can't seem to find it, but yeah, KRI is now currently talking about Kaspa with their partners and friends, which include PwC, Eon Energy, Siemens Energy, Hyundai, Bosch. You know, it is a big, big deal institutional adoption will be most definitely coming to Kaspa. It's not for me something I'm concerned about. And again, I've made posts regarding, what they are trying to do, the KR, or what's happening right now in this space. The one I made about the European Central Bank, this one here, KR, I responded to that, saying that's why they're focusing on warp core and ISO readiness, so Kaspa can stand above all else. So I mean, yeah, it's very, very good news to see that Kaspa again is kind of getting into the spotlight, the right places where it needs to be. So hopefully that will, migrate more towards adoption and price action going forward as well. So that's great stuff to see right now. And they also mentioned they're still working on micro virtual machine runtimes and researching concepts related to RISC-V in regards to the smart contract stuff right now. So that's good to see as well. Very good stuff to see right now. And then we also have this post here, something that I mentioned on my Twitter earlier. This is one of the documents that got announced. I think this was published, November 2025. So in the last like 2 or 3 days or so, this report was published from INATBA, which, they're a key body advising the European Union right now. And they confirm in this document that tokenization is now viewed as the essential non-negotiable infrastructure for Europe's next generation financial system. You can see here, governments, central banks, and financial institutions are already implementing tokenization. They're literally adopting this technology right now. It's past the theory stage. It's actually into use case and utilization right now. It's not speculation. It's about policy, infrastructure, and core integration into global finance. And this is one reason why I continuously repeat and retort and say that you can't be so held up and strung up on the price. Of course, it's important. I don't want to sound like ignore the price, because that's irresponsible for anyone to say ignore the price all the time. You can't ignore the price, but you can't let the price drive you as an investor and become emotional because of it. The price sucks in crypto. Altcoins particularly, but all of crypto sucks. It is terrible. It's been a tough year. Things were good when Trump won the election, which happened around this time last year, actually. You saw crypto rally this time last year, and it's been rough pretty much since then. We're higher right now, or actually we're not from the peaks, but you've had this tariff FUD here, rally up again. You've seen mass crypto liquidations again since then, black swan events happening continuously. It's been a tough year, but all the documentation coming through, this is just one of hundreds that I've published to my VIP community. All the documentation we're looking at in here is talking about the next stage is coming now. That we're at the tipping point right now. How 2025 became a foundational building year. 2026 is a year of FOMO. That doesn't mean price action. Doesn't mean we're going to see mooning in 2026. May do. I've seen documentation talking about a cycle extension from Signum Bank, from Bitwise, from SwiftX. So if that's the case, for one, we found that and called that 4 or 5 months ago now. So we got in early, therefore, in our VIPs. And we prepared for this. And we're looking at other documentation and interviews and research talking about the same thing. And I'm just going to quickly load it on the screen right now so I can see something I did cover earlier. It was from Standard Chartered. And by the way, actually, you know what? I will show this actually, because truth be told, this is one of my VIP reports, but this one is not so much confidential, but it's actually publicly announced. The difference is, this already got 71 views. So unless you already have seen it externally, nobody has seen this Digital Asset Summit 2025 in London, where Standard Chartered, a $1 trillion bank, have stated that in the next 6 to 9 months, you're going to see even more institutional money get regulatory clarity for DeFi. You're going to see big banks finally make their move, and you're going to see a FOMO following that as well. So while I play this video, listen very carefully to make sure the desktop audio is actually on.
At the bottom layer, there's so many exciting things you can build on top.
I agree. I think
I think it's going to be massive, actually, and I'll probably go even slightly further than the other guys. I think we have now the tokenized cash version, call it what you like. We have the tokenized money market fund stuff. We have each of these weekend liquid now. We have a large push now already into tokenized equities. We will get Clarity Act, SEC guidelines. We'll work out what we can do in DeFi, what's legitimate, what can scale in DeFi. And I think this is all like in the next 6 to 9 months, actually. And so I think if we today have something like $30 billion in tokenized real-world assets outstanding, in 12 months, we're going to be at like 300 billion. So I think you're just at that acceleration point where regulation, liquidity, and others can come together.
That is huge. And again, that's something that I take pride in as a researcher. That's ultimately what I am. I'm a researcher and entertainer. I'm finding documentation and interviews like this and posting it to my VIPs and even showing some of these snippets for you lot as well, so you understand what is coming. Standard Chartered, one of the global leaders, has stated that in the next 6 to 9 months, you're going to see this, $30 billion tokenization market jump to 300, so a 10x in that regard, by Q2, Q3 2026. He also mentions a little bit on his world, pay very close attention as well.
And we can move very, very quickly. So it's equities now. It will be tokenized broader funds at some stage. Like when I talk to the real money accounts, at some stage next year, one of the main ones that possibly starts with B is going to say, okay, here's like $50 billion fund, which is now all in tokenized space. And when after that, you'll get all the FOMO from all the others doing exactly the same, right? So
again, and I showed this one because, again, this is not even really private. Like, I haven't gone through my means to get private confidential information for people. Like, most of the information from VIPs is private confidential information that the smart money are not showing their clients. But this here is at the Digital Asset Blockchain Summit. So a whole event where the global leaders are coming together, talking together about what they predict happening in the future. Now, they may not have as much credibility, therefore, you could argue, because smart money, they do lie. I accept that. I don't think they lie when they're talking privately to each other. They might do on stage. But either way, the sentiment being in the next 6 to 9 months, you're going to see a 30 billion market jump to 300 billion, and you're going to see one of the big institutions, the big banks, finally send a stupid amount of capital into the markets, and that causing FOMO for all the other assets to come flying through as well. That's a signal. That's a huge signal of what's to come, proving that once more 2025 was a foundational building year. And the long term looks really, really bullish. And again, if you pair that with the research we've done from Signal Bank and everything else, and the other documentation that I covered earlier with my VIPs, reports from payments, from architect partners, we covered reports from the ECB and everything else. And there's again, literally hundreds. While I've not been able to do as much in regarding live stream and whatnot, and I feel like I've been lacking a little bit, I've been posting 2 to 3 reports or something a day. A lot more than frequently than usual in this executive channel. We can see what the smart money reporting, because it says every day there's something happening. We saw a big AI something. We saw something with State Street happen earlier, if you know about that. State Street made a very, very big announcement regarding crypto as well. Like, there's literally so much. Visa did a big one as well. And again, this one I mentioned and publicized earlier from the INATBA. So again, shameless plug, I know, but once more, if you want to find out more, level up your crypto knowledge and effectively get ahead of the game, not panic so much in these price pullbacks. I'll provide, of course, all the macro and whatnot updates to the VIPs as well, but you get access to the weekly live streams we do, all reports, and all like the video I recorded, that's already uploaded there. You can go listen to what we spoke about, basically a lot more detail than the stream here. We'll get trade alerts going in there as well. You've got all that stuff going through continuously, and the alpha documentation, which I take a lot of pride in finding these reports, giving us more clarity on what's coming, which gives us, again, more logical thinking, less emotional thinking, knowing where to invest, how to invest, and when to invest. Because right now the markets are terrible and we're holding off, but at the same time we see a lot of documentation saying that the market can still go up from here. So many reports. This is just one interview, and there's been so many reports with all of them just saying 2026 is going to be huge. Again, we don't know if it's going to be the price right now. We haven't seen an altcoin season at all just yet. And the M2 money supply is still making all-time highs. If you go back to that Signum Bank document, wherever that is, the one that I've already publicized numerous times into my community, this one here, the monthly outlook here, you see that what they mentioned as, they said, as the crypto market has adhered to a consistent 4-year cycle so far during its short history, expectations are that we are pushing the end of the current bull cycle with bear predictions for 2026. However, as global liquidity remains plentiful and expanding, the M2 money supply is at all-time highs right now. Just look at this. So because of that, because we're seeing increased institutional adoption, which we just heard from this interview here, and due to increased regulatory developments, which we also heard from him here talk about the Clarity Act coming through, because of all these factors taken into account, these are likely to act as catalysts for these certain segments of the market. Now, you could argue maybe crypto won't be a part of that, except, again, if you're part of the VIP, you've seen the information, you know that crypto most definitely is going to be a part of that. Out of the whole investment space right now, everything tech-based, the only assets, the only markets that have actually seen significant investments has been AI and crypto. Everything else, nobody's touched because they're so uncertain right now with tariffs, with geopolitical tensions, with the Fed acting in such a hawkish stance. They don't want to touch anything, but they invest into crypto and AI. Why do you think that is? So Signum Bank, and they're not the only ones, they believe the current cycle has further to go, therefore it's going to extend into 2026. That is the sentiment from institutions. This is what private confidential information is telling their clients. I had to go and find this. They didn't publicize this for easy access. You have to know where to look. You have to get access to this. You've got to sign up for this stuff. It's not easy to get a hold of. So again, if you want to learn more, you can check out the VIP. You can find out a lot more in there, and you'll hear more of what we're seeing right now, and why, again, despite the massive capitulation we saw right now, I'm not worried. Of course, I'm gonna trade and act accordingly. Again, I'll de-risk and whatnot, but I'm not worried because all the signs are telling me that the end of this year could be very, very good, hopefully. Going into 2026, we should still be seeing some more momentum, and how much further from them we don't exactly know, but we'll still be seeing, higher prices effectively. Because we're going to see more adoption into tokenization, into digital assets, into crypto, more IPOs as being something else as well. So because of that, you can see the markets explode from there on as well. Just food for thought, family. Again, if you want more insights, check out the VIP. Links down below in the description. You've got 7-day free trials, which you can't see because my face is there. Give me a second. You've got 7-day free trials. You also can get a 1-month free trial if you sign up to BYDFI, the affiliate exchange we're working with, no KYC VPN, regulated exchange. And you can get access to all information for basically 5 weeks for free. And then decide on top of that, if you think it's worth your while, you're learning a lot more from there, then you can sign up from there. But you might as well utilize the benefits being given there and level up your knowledge. Because what we're seeing right now is textbook. The reason for this capitulation is more than I covered in stream. There's a lot of reasons for this capitulation we've seen right now. And I gave rundown earlier, literally an hour or two before the stream. I'm just looking through Cryptony right now and is talking with Bing Hong. Wallet one is control, Wall Street, CZ, Live Think, etc., etc. It's war. Stop looking for a Binance listing. I mean, I talk about Binance listing because it's something that people have been caring about for a long, long time. But I've stated, at least at the very least, I don't think we should pay for a Binance listing, and it will come when it comes. If you've seen the documentation that I've been seeing and seeing that they're talking about infrastructure, that's what they're caring about right now. Kaspa's fine. Kaspa's literally nothing but infrastructure and building. They're not there simply listing assets. They're here building for the future of tokenization. So Kaspa's fine. I'm not worried about Kaspa in the slightest. Price goes down lower, I'll scoop up more. Welcome, Canal Biz. Nice. Hope you're doing very, very well. Is the digital euro not dangerous for the use of crypto like Kaspa? Good question. The digital euro does coincide with CBDCs, which is basically centralized government's control for digital assets. So it would have that kind of negative effect, and it could potentially be it's the opposite of Kaspa. Europe wants to retain control. Kaspa does not give you, Kaspa gives you self sovereignty and control of your own assets. Europe wants to control everything. So Europe won't like Kaspa, I'm sure. But if it's so overwhelmingly impossible to ignore because the tech is so incredible, what choice do they have? That's where you've got entities like LCX and KRI trying to push Kaspa into these markets. And I think, we've seen it time and time again. Think about what's happened to crypto, for example. Not even it was in June 2023 that BlackRock announced the ETF for Bitcoin. And it got launched in January 2024. It's been 2 years almost since the first ETF for crypto. The most successful in history, by the way. But a year before that, Lai Fink and everyone was saying, Bitcoin's crap, Bitcoin's a scam, crypto's a scam. Never forget, it's only used for illicit activities and like, it's terrible. Jamie Dimon said that for years and years and years, and he publicly admitted now that it's going to be used by everybody. So they'll hate it because they can't control it properly. But because crypto is such innovative technology, they found a way to control elements of it as well. I'm sure it's also played a part into it. But because it's such innovative technology, they can't ignore it. It's faster, it's better. Of course they're going to try and use it. They're going to try and retain control. And again, you can do that with elements of Kaspa to an extent as well. Like if you can have at least true self-control and protection at least. That's what Kaspa provides with its architecture, again, when more of it's being built. So it's a good question, Rain. I would say Kaspa threatens digital euro and vice versa, but I don't think it will matter in the long run. The digital euro, from what I saw an interview from Christine Lagarde, you're seeing the initial talking stage kind of is past that now, but I don't think it'll be fully live until 2029. So if that's the case, you've got 4 years left for Kaspa to really make a dent. And what do you think Kaspa will do in 4 years? 4 years are going to be crazy, no doubt. What's up? Bingo Bango Bro, you're doing very, very well, brother. Yeah, exactly. I know you've been knowing this crypto, Tony. I'm sure you have your own sources as well. But that's one thing that I feel like our community in particular, I'd like to think more further ahead than most. That may be a little bit arrogant of me to say so, but I do provide. I used to talk and waffle a lot, of course, based on information and the sources that I love talking about. But I believe now that as also as a selling point to the VIP, but also to help keep you all informed more so as well, I started publicizing some of the premium insights publicly. Documentation and interviews like this, documentation like this, and we've seen so many more like this as well. Like there's so many stuff that I've been now trying to showcase, and I've got a lot more actually in the VIP, and they all kind of give us, because you've got to understand the smart money, they run the market, they run the world. Of course they do. So despite you may not trust them and like them, and you shouldn't trust them and like them, what they say matters and has influence and impact. I don't trust what they say on mainstream media, never do. But what they're saying in private and confidential documents that I have been fortunate to get access to and provide to my VIPs, I trust that because they're telling it to their clients. I shouldn't be allowed to show it. I probably am not. That's why we've got to be careful, probably in the future going forward. But this is the sort of stuff this is where the market's going. We saw 2024 being the year of acceptance. 2025 has been the year of foundation and building. 2026 will be the year of adoption, mass adoption. And yes, you can probably hear that. Let's turn that audio off. But yes, Cryptonic asked the question I will provide. This is also the stock to flow ratio in regards to Kaspa as well, also proving why Kaspa will be perfectly fine going forward as well. Like gold has been the best for the longest time. Bitcoin comes in and starts taking over very, very quickly. And then you get the birth of Kaspa. And Kaspa, due to its architecture, will just completely outdo the stock to flow ratio to everything. It's not going to be immediately. You don't see it take a significant step to, according to this, 2028, 2029 or so. But then Kaspa will be just sufficiently better than, the most sound source of money. And it's only going to continue growing from then as more adoption comes on board. It's incredible how early we actually are. Incredible. I take great pride in how early we are. I'm with you in the trenches right now in crypto. I'm with you in the trenches right now. It sucks. I want to have my Lambo and all that jokes. I want to have it. It's been tough, but if you know what's coming, you won't let it affect you. If you've been liquidated, I apologize. Of course, I feel for you, but again, if you want the humble brag about source, you know it. I've got to, I try to be humble about it at least. But yeah, if you want to help myself out more and also level up your trading game, check out BYDFI, no KYC exchange, links down below in the description. And yes, also get the 30-day executive trial, 1 month free trial to the VIP, which again, if you don't want to take advantage of BYDFI, it's perfectly fine. You get a 7-day free trial at the very least, access to so much documentation, all the live streams, the interviews we do, all the trade alerts, and much more. We're going to be posting in there as well. Access to all of that down below as well. At the very least, you can find out more information in the free Discord server, which you also can chill chat and learn more of me there. So check that out and equally follow me on Twitter. Thank you very much, Cryptony, once more for the plugs to all these socials as well. And you can see all of them are linked here as well. So you can find all that stuff there. Not predicting the amount of the cycle top, but what quarter do you think it may occur? Good question, John. It's hard to determine because it does very much depend on the overall sentiment, because you may see FOMO kick in the next month or two, and therefore you can see a top in Q1. At the same time, you can see it take a lot longer, top in Q2. If I'm to hazard a guess right now, I'm going Q2. I'm not sure exactly where in Q2. Maybe early, maybe late, maybe even Q3. I don't know. But right now I'm leaning more towards Q2. It could go on longer, and of course, my predictions. I don't make predictions for a reason because it's out of thin air. Like, of course, I'm using it based on my information, but just because you see institutions saying they're going to put more into these certain markets, doesn't mean the market's going to go up as well. It's very hard to determine. But I think Q2. I think if I'm going to hazard some form of predictions right now, I think November will be quite lackluster. December will be probably a bit better. Probably getting no deviation from the path right now. Q1 will probably be quite good, and Q2 could continue in that fashion as well, with more adoptions and stuff coming out as well. And to understand more in that regard, again, what I'm saying, why I'm meaning that, utilize the free trials for the VIP community, and you can see literally, I'm going to briefly show like literally the hundreds of documentation in here. This is all stuff I published in the last week or so. That's now 2 weeks ago. All the documentation here, interviews and everything here, with them talking about from yield farming to AI to where they perceive investments going to go to. It's so much information in there. And again, trade alerts and all that stuff, which again, the P&Ls have we had a very, very good start to the week, seeing some big gains off the back. So, good to see that we are still able to utilize the crypto crash, which is good as well. So again, find out more on the VIP links down below. Crypto is halal, right? Maybe it is. I mean, it's temptation, that's for sure. CBDCs will be universally rejected, I believe. Yes and no. Retail-wise, yes. However, you've got to understand that this is not the first time we've seen this. What the smart money tend to do whenever they want to implement something is they force a crisis. Let's just say the debasement of fiat currency. Fiat is terrible. Fiat is a scam. Fiat can't do this and the other. You need something quick and fast. You need digital assets. And we've got it here. They won't necessarily tell you it's CBDCs with mass control. They'll mask it. But people are going to accept the premise of digital assets. I mean, if you listen to the interview from Christine Lagarde, She doesn't talk about it in that mannerism. If you looked at the report that I publicized here, let's go back down to it now. The digital euro has a 66% interest apparently. And that's for retail side of things. That's ridiculous. But again, it's their mannerism in which they perceive it. So what you're going to likely see in this adoption of crypto, especially, but equally CBDCs, is a crisis occurs, which is kind of happening right now, the debasement, a long-winded fourth turning crisis. And then you'll see the solution come through being blockchain, which it is, crypto blockchain, Kaspa, but then the CBDCs. Right? I think we know to reject them, but most won't. Crypto is 7% of the global population. Most people don't. I can guarantee now, if I went down the street and spoke to 100 people, very little would know what crypto is. No one would know what Bitcoin is. No one would understand the elements of crypto. Probably don't know anything aside from Bitcoin. And they would not have a clue what CBDCs are. We are in a small niche bubble right now. We are so early. And we're going to leverage that and capitalize off the gains that comes through from it. Yeah, what does the video show? Kaspa overtaking them all in by what metric? Basically, it's a case of, as Tony says here, total supply divided by annual emissions. The single most important factor to determine how hard an asset of currency is the measurement of resistance to change. Yeah, because Kaspa's got a very aggressive emission schedule, it basically, for it to not fall off to go to zero, it needs to see adoption come through quicker. And it will. I believe it will do. It's got a technology to do so anyways. So therefore, it's going to become this hard money quicker as well, overtaking silver and gold quicker and overtaking Bitcoin in the next 3-4 years or so. Precisely that. Okay. Well, that being said, family, that actually was almost an hour. I didn't want to go on for that long because it is almost 11:20 where I'm at. It's very, very late. Thank you all for tuning in at this late hour. Tomorrow's stream should hopefully be the usual time. You should hopefully have a video of sorts coming out tomorrow. Don't know if it's going to be on Zebek or Tau or Kaspa. I haven't decided just yet. I know Tau did finally have their update come through. As you can see here, the update did finally come through, which might explain why you're seeing the pump and dump, the FOMO coming off the back. It has some problems with the launch, I think. But yeah, we'll see how Tau reacts going forward as well. I think Tau's a fantastic hold in my belief. Of course, not financial advice. Do your own research. Thank you very much, Bing Hong. I appreciate you. But yes, if you enjoyed the stream, as always, family, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more. If you want more in-depth insights, as per usual, check out the VIP. Links down below in the description. Also, on my homepage for YouTube, check out BYDFI, check out the free Discord server and learn a lot more in there. When the markets are in such a time of uncertainty and turbulation, clarity is the only thing that will save you. That's kind of how I perceive it. That's also why I like doing these streams, to give you lots of clarity, to talk to you a lot, have a conversation. And the conversation we're having about VIPs is equally as, if not even more, insightful, because we can see how these institutions are actually planning to go forward. We can see multiple interviews like this. If I'm just to pull up one more as I'm tailing off right now because I'm feeling generous today. That was about the 4-year cycle. There's about that one as well. Which one I want to bring up? That one, it does actually say private confidential, so I'm not going to bring that up just in case it does get me banned. Did I showcase this one? I don't know if I did. Okay, I'll showcase this one then. This is a very simple one as well from Productivity. This came out, I published this in my VIP yesterday. And from Productivity here, about crypto compliance and focused regulatory views across the US, UK, EU, and APAC. In summary, crypto is expected to have an impact on the financial systems, and that means its evolution is important to the financial service industry, governments, and regulators. So, Probity, by the way, is not a small player. They are a global consulting powerhouse advising Fortune 500 companies on risk, compliance, and technology. They're huge, and they're saying crypto is necessary. And it's going to be a massive it's going to have a massive impact on the financial service industry and governments and regulators. That's your signal, family. That is your signal for what is coming to the space and how it's going to come through. So again, if you want more in-depth insights, cannot recommend enough the VIP. Links down below in the description. Access to interviews, to my live streams alongside See Crypto, technical analysis, trade alerts, and so much more. Again, all information provided right there. Spec $1 2030, tough to say, fan. It's tough to say. We'll have to wait and see. It's really early to call that sort of stuff. And I appreciate very much, Rain. And yes, you're welcome, brother, for all the information. I'll do as I can do. But that being said, family, hopefully you're having a great day and enjoy the rest of your evening and your night. You'll be seeing this room go through a bit of you'll see this setup go through a lot of changes over the next few days as I'll be redoing this room completely. So for the next week or so, you might see my setup change at a random notice. So just keep that in mind. But yes, have a great day, family.